Yeah, hi everyone. It's J.S.Grigorian chaplain. Um, I'm in Geneva, in this kind of United Nations city. Um, and I've been imprisoned for 2 hours because I was traveling without a ticket, which was a very, very unpleasant experience, I would say, in my life. Because considering the fact that I'm literally in the city of the United Nations, it is really weird that for having zero ticket or for having no passport on you, you can be in prison. I really think that something like that should never be a step from the side of the government towards the citizen, and be a punishment because to imprison a European person, which is literally really getting famous and which has been or is still a political refugee, is kind of really unkind. It's somehow really not the way the politician should react to the problems of a human being, which is well, which was actually developing the cancer healing medicine or the beauty insurances or adoption in the world for free, which I am a creator of. So I would say, even due to the fact that even recording, keeping in mind the fact that this is a city of United Nations, it's a very humiliating fact that they put me into prison because I was having their ID card on me. Because finding my name online is a problem of 1 second, and knowing who I am is a problem of 1 minute maybe. But this is not something you were getting imprisoned for. So, because I was talking about the possibilities of not keeping people in prison and closing the prisons, I really am really uh, being humiliated by the enormously bad, enormously horrible situation of prisons. These are really very small rooms, small chambers, which are stinking, which are the most neglected room you can think of. They are dirty. You don't know what happened actually within these four walls. There are no books, no shelves, no magazines, no TV, not a possibility to make a phone call. This is one of the most horrible rooms I spent some 2 hours in during my lifetime. So what makes it actually possible that politicians are so cruel towards the citizens of the world that they're putting them into prison, which is literally way more horrible than the chairman. The chickens maybe are held in some kind of it's literal, it's like a chicken container for a human being. It is just dirty and stinky and horrible. So this is why I'm saying around the world the prisons should be closed and nobody should be humiliated in this way, because I'm absolutely sure there are a lot of rooms in this world which are nicer, and if you are putting somebody into this room called prison, which looks so horrible, what actually uh, makes you step back from the possibility of making this prison a little bit more civilized and comfortable, because right now I'm in a nice hotel. This is not even a five stars hotel, but you can see that the room I'm sitting in is looking nice. So, what is the problem for the politicians or for the police to make the prison a little bit nicer? For example, I will just show you this hotel room, this hotel um, dining room actually. So I'm talking about there is enough light. There are some tapes. There's some tapestry on the walls. There are nice chairs. I mean, they're not like 100 years old, and somebody was like crying hours and hours sitting on them. Um, there is a lot of colors. There are a lot of colors in this room. So this is a room you cannot get crazy in, I would say. Even if you're sitting in a small room, the furniture like that for some 2 3 hours, you're not gonna be accumulated enormously by spending your life in this room or 2 hours of your life in this room. But sitting in prison in the most horrible environment you can think of makes me feel that I'm not in Geneva, which is a very beautiful city uh, situated in Switzerland, and I'm really not in the city of the United Nations, but I'm in some kind of prison in Siberia or um, Guantanamo, wherever. So I really think that prisons should be looking nicer, because not having an ID on you should not be the last step in your life, and should not be uh, putting the darkest thoughts into your head because you're sitting in a horrible small room stinking. But I would say that something like troubles with the police officer system 2 3 hours should not be the last thing you did in your lifetime, so you're thinking about suicide, for example, because trust me, to spend some hours in this horrible small chamber which is stinking, where the light is really very poor and very bad, and there are no wall, no tapestry on the wall, no colors, but three colors like some sort of say the sheet colors on the walls, and then uh, blue door and red benches. It really makes a person to think about suicide and to think about himself or herself like a really very bad person. But trust me, politicians of the world to lose your wallet with ID, you're not able to produce your personality on a plastic card. It's not the worst thing in the world. So pushing a human being into this prison is really humiliating. Shame on Geneva, and shame on the politicians of Geneva, and shame on the United Nations, which are not able to care for health and for mental health of the imprisoned person. And actually, shame on you, every politician in the world and every policeman in the world, because you're always liar and you're always lying to people, and you're asking for cooperation and asking some questions. This is not a method to put somebody into prison, but to clarify this person to be free of guilt. So I would say all in one, that was one of the most horrible um, situation in my life, to be put into prison, which is so stinky and so horrible looking, in the city and in a country which are so very rich, which are filled with filmmakers and really famous politicians from all over the world. It is a very big shame on Geneva that such prison actually exists, and that the policemen are so aggressive and so horrible people. Shame on you.